Hello, everybody. Welcome to Freestyle Fridays. My name is Sonia Marie. If you don't know me, and if you do, and you are used to my channel, thank you. Thank you for seeing this video after the fact, and thank you for joining us live once people start to roll on in. I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for your participation and your love and your support here on this channel. As I wait for people to come on in, just let me give a few announcements. If you ever need a reading, please hit me up at wordlifeastrology.com. If you are not familiar with me as an author, I've written an astrology book, which is actually really dope, called The Signs, an Astrological Memoir. It's a book about the 12 signs, sun signs for sure, but it also expresses how we can see the sun signs and the energy of the sun signs represented throughout our daily lives. And it's pretty cool in how you can understand that all things work together as above, so below. And it just, some of it is funny because it's a memoir and there's story attached to it. So if you want, go ahead and get that thing. Again, just giving a few announcements as folks roll on in. If you feel so inclined, please donate to the channel. My Venmo, my Cash App, and my PayPal is below in the description box. I'm really, really grateful for those that kind of like quietly donate to my channel and slip me a few dollars here and there, truly, because it just makes me feel like there's an exchange that's gone down. So I appreciate all that you can give me. As folks are rolling on in, what's up, Trina and Nicia and D's Delectable? Chanel is here. What's going on? What's going on? I want to say this, and I'm probably going to say it a few more times until more people start rolling in, because for some reason the notifications are oftentimes a little off, So, and then the feed is off too. So I want to give people a long enough time to get on in here. And I don't like to repeat myself over and over and over and over. To the contrary, because a chick does repeat herself sometimes. But I will say this, as you start to roll on in, this may be unlike any other broadcast. I just want you to know that. If you are sliding in here and expecting jovial, crazy ass, goofy Sonia, she may slide in every now and again. However, I am really sad today. And I came on here for a reason. Not to express my sadness to the point of pity, not to share with you for Sonia's sake. And I'll explain in a second. I'm sharing what I'm sharing with you for us all, for those that come on this broadcast, for the friends and family that you have, for people that you know and love, people that you don't know and love, and that you just send prayers out to. This broadcast is for people that are suffering, and I'll explain further as I go along. So, as I give this disclaimer, if you are expecting the jovial kind of happy space, informative space, although there will be some information that I was told in the shower to download and bring on in. If you're expecting lightheartedness in this, you may want to turn this off. I just want to give you that disclaimer, because there are some people, especially those that have a lot of Sagittarius and Gemini in their chart, and I'm not pointing fingers, I'm an astrologer. So I know that Sagittarius energy and Gemini energy have a hard time dealing with deep emotional subjects. And if you are a person who would rather stay to that for this day, this is not the broadcast for you. Okay? To be truthful with you, I just want to put that out there. This is not the broadcast for you. So shut me down, turn me off, red button the shit, and come back next week for the weekly rundown on Monday. If you're curious to what it is that I'm alluding to today, here we go. First of all, let me say hello to a few more people that rolled on in. What's up, Ann Weissman? What's up, ZP? Zena, and Tam is here. And yeah, that looks like all the new people that I see. So I have been reading charts and doing intuitive readings for a really long time. To be honest with you, the intuitive reading part has probably been a lot longer than I really can count the years, to be truthful with you, because when I was younger and or in my 20s and 30s, before I turned it into a profession, I was reading people without knowing that I was reading people. I wasn't conscious of it. So in doing this process and then turning it into a business and then incorporating astrology with it, over the last 20 years, 15, 20 years or so, there have been people to come in and out of my lives, and I've done thousands of readings, to be truthful with you. There was this one gentleman that I connected with, a brother from Philly, who's a couple of years younger than myself. I'll be 53 years young on July 7th, who reached out to me about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And we had several readings, like almost 7 plus, over the last couple of years or so. And in the way that I could, I assisted him through whatever he needed to be assisted through. Apparently, he was suffering a whole lot more than I thought he was, and he took his life this week, y'all. And I'm really sad because I loved him. I do my best not to connect too deeply to my clients for good reason, right? Because I'm a Cancer, and I kind of want to be separate from their heart space and what they go through. But for some reason, this fine ass motherfucker just had a way of getting to my heart. And he was going through too much for him to handle. And he shot himself. I'm not going to divulge his name because I want to do my best to kind of be respectful of him. And before I go on, for those that just kind of rolled in, this is not pity for Sonja. Know that. The real reason why I came on here, because I really could have kind of shut down and went into my shell. As Cancers, we can do that really, really quickly and kind of block out the world for a little while. I thought to do something different this time, only because there's a lot more people than him and then what's his name? Was his name Tretch? Not Tretch. That's from the rap group. I can't think right now, y'all. But the young dancer Twitch that left, and a lot of men, a lot of people. And I don't want to singleize it, but a lot of people. Hold on, y'all. A lot of people are leaving, like just checking out and voluntarily. And I don't necessarily understand it, but I do. So anyway, this is not pity for Sonja. So I appreciate your love and all the good feelings that you want to send me in the prayers. But let's try to make this bigger than me. Okay. This is about my client. This is about his family. This is about your family. This is about your friends. This is about strangers that you know, that you feel for, that feel like that they're in a mental space or in an emotional space that can't reach out. I need for y'all to know that leaving this planet voluntarily, in my mind's eye, is not an option. I'm going to go through my grief, and I'm going to go through whatever it is that I need to go through because I let that young man in my heart. But right now I'm mad. I'm pissed and I'm sad. So I really wanted to come on here for us to dispel, to open up, to connect with y'all, to see how you feeling, to maybe assist in any way that you may be in a space, a dark space in your life in which you are not talking about, expressing, you feel shame for, you feel guilt for, um, any of those feelings, whatever emotions that come over you. I just want to be able to speak to your heart in this moment in time. It's not an option to leave here, y'all. And I'm not judging. And I don't know what you're going through. And I don't want to I don't want to pretend to understand to the level in which anybody is suffering. That's not my job. At the end of the day, I do see, but I am human. So I don't necessarily know to the extent of how you are handling the problems that you have. But y'all, it's not an option. It's not an option. And I say that from a loving perspective and also from an astrological perspective. When we talk about transits in astrology, transits are temporary action, you dig? We go through transits in our lives. We go through moments in our lives. We go through waves of depression that could last for a day. It can last for 20 years, y'all. But it's going to go. You're going to come to the other side of it. Again, I'm not here to convince you, nor judge you, nor control you, nor justify. But I'm here as a person who loves you. I'm here as a person who loves us as a people, as a human race. And the fact that society and the pressures of society and the things that we are going through right now is weighing heavy on people, heavier than it has ever been, apparently, because people are really utilizing suicide as an option. I was just talking to a young Japanese brother in the hallway as I was downstairs. And he was expressing that his back in Japan, there are certain firearms are illegal. So he concurred that even people in his country are taking their lives, but what they're doing is they're jumping off of buildings together. I'm not saying this to give anybody no fucking ideas. Please understand this. I know that all of y'all are mature enough to have this conversation or one-sided conversation or realization, okay? I don't want to add to anybody's pain. Text me, call me, DM me, whatever you need to do to talk through anything, do it. Or anybody for that matter. But he was expressing how that it's like widespread. And I'm just like, wow, that's just so crazy. He says more so now than ever. And I just want y'all to know that again, this is a transit. It's always temporary. There's always something to do. There's always somebody to talk to. I understand shame and guilt is real. And I understand that we go through these feelings because we have expectations and we have goals for ourselves. If y'all have questions or y'all want to say something to start a conversation, please put up some bold exclamatory marks or question marks, please, so I can see them. All right. I just want us to be good. I want us to be good. And again, I'm not putting his name out there because I have respect for him and his family. I just wish I could have assisted him a little bit better. Or I should say in a way in which could have saved his life. I want y'all to be good. So astrologically speaking, I kind of felt like maybe, okay, to try to get professional and to shift the focus just a little bit and get some education behind this, right? That possibly maybe you can find out where Pluto is in your chart and or what's going on. And this is me being a teacher again, right? What's going on in your fourth house. I'm explaining to you why. Pluto, as we know, has just gone retrograde today, which means for the past couple of days, it's been slowing down. Pluto is the planet of death, like transformational death. And we do know that even physical death is a transformation because no one never ever dies, right? But Pluto is that planet that when it gets aspected and or slowed down, like it's about to go into retrograde, and or again, when I say aspected, like other planets are hitting it, making it a worse kind of situation or a worse feel, a worse transition, or it could be aspected in a harmonious way with trines and sextiles, right? Sometimes Pluto can affect people and how they see certain things or how they are dealing with transformation within their own lives, right? And then it could prompt them, possibly, maybe, this is not always the case. So don't run to your chart and you see Pluto going through something in your chart and you think that this is your reason for going, or that you feel alarmed that somebody is going to go. It doesn't happen all the time. Let me give that disclaimer. All right. I just want you to understand that it's not a fucking rule, but I want to try to, again, spin this astrologically because that's what we're essentially on here to do, right? To share astrological information and to share life information. So Pluto is one thing because, again, Pluto is about destruction. Pluto aims to destroy again and transform things because it's over it. Because Pluto says once we destroy things, we can start something else. That's why, and I know I'm going on a tangent, y'all, but rock with me, okay? That's why people bug out over Scorpio sometimes, because Scorpio energy is ruled by Pluto. And Scorpio people oftentimes feel like, let's just get rid of all, from 0 to 60 they go. Let's just obliterate it all so we can start something new. That is the science behind Scorpio energy, behind Plutonian energy, is the fact that when it's all said and done, then we can start something new. So rock with me. If Pluto is going backwards, and remember, when any planet goes retrograde, especially when it's really far away, we feel that thing a couple of days before it actually does that. And when it goes retro and or wobbly and gets out of formation, there's a haziness that comes in the universe, right? It's not clear. It's not clear. It's disturbed. It doesn't have a proper pathway. Even when it's retrograde, after a couple of weeks, when Pluto goes retro, it'll at least have a definite wobble, going back, even though that looked like a dance, like I'm getting down, huh? Excuse me for burping. It has like a definite wobble and it's in its rhythm. But before it goes retro, the rhythm is kind of wonky. And if you get caught in the crosshairs of that, in regards to the definition of the planet, i.e., destruction, transformation, it can be unclear to some folks, right? Are y'all rocking with me? Yes, y'all. Can I see? I know y'all here, and I know y'all holding your breath for me because I can feel y'all. And thank you, Chanel. I am doing my best to breathe. You sound like my mother. Thank you. So just getting that point. I got you, Maya. I'm gonna come back to you in 2 seconds. Just given that point, that could be one reason why people just feel a little like, oh shit, is it death? Is it destruction? Am I gonna have the strength to start over once I go through this transformation? I don't know. That kind of feel. Also, the fourth house, on the bottom of the chart, We call it the southern hemisphere of the chart. The fourth house, Mama Nita used to teach me all the time, it's the exit. Some people think the eighth house is because the eighth house is Scorpio's house, which deals with transformation, but it actually is the fourth house. Because the fourth house is the doorway to our ancestors and to the ethereal realm, as well as it represents home, and family, and again, unseen family, ancestors. So oftentimes when things go through that particular house and or can agitate it, there's a feeling of death, and there's a feeling of opening the door and checking out. Thank y'all for being here. And thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. So just be aware of that. Again, I don't want to go through too much in regards to that, but what I do want to do is get into a conversation if y'all have questions. And I also want to read one or two people here too. This is how I'm choosing to deal with it. I want to give. I want to continue to give. There was a part of me that said, you know what, fuck this shit. Yesterday I was in a space and I was like, I'm not doing no more readings. And my emotions and my ego got the best of me. And I just felt like shutting down. And then I heard my friend this morning and he was like, no, you're not. So I was convinced by him to keep going and to assist in whatever way I can. Even though this may seem a little choppy and not necessarily clear, forgive me. I'm speaking through emotion and I'm speaking through an urgency to really want to give each and every one of you a big ass hug, especially to those who ever thought about leaving the planet voluntarily. Okay? So that's what we're going to do today. Please open up for discussions and allow us to hear what you feel, okay? So we can work through anything. Maya said, how do you care for your different simultaneous feelings through transitions, like anger and sadness, relief, shame, excitement? When you say how to care for your different simultaneous feelings, are you speaking, and this is a real question, Maya, are you talking about Sonja, or are you talking about on a whole? And I really want to make that clear because I can give two different answers. And to be truthful with you, I'd rather speak from the former perspective, and that's from Sonja's perspective, because I can't speak for everybody. I can't speak for everybody. This is the second client I had in the years that I've been doing this, y'all, that committed suicide. So it's landing on me even extra heavy today and yesterday because I just don't understand. So in that way, I can't necessarily speak for everybody, Maya. My perspective, thank you. How do I handle it personally? And I did something different today. I went swimming. I've been swimming for the last couple of weeks faithfully, and I feel good about it. Like my body is so happy because my muscles are getting tighter. My lungs feel like they're clearing out. And I heard jump back in the water. So for me, I go to my element. As a water sign, I go to my element. And within my element, I experience all of those feelings, sadness, anger, relief, shame, excitement, all at one time while I'm in the pool doing 31 laps today. Because as I'm moving, as I'm washing things away, and even though I still hold the sadness a little bit less, but definitely present, as I'm moving and feeling through it, I'm releasing. I give myself permission to grieve. That's how I move through it. I give myself permission, Maya. Oftentimes, what looks like we don't give ourselves permission is people not breathing, people sucking it up, people quickly trying to get back to the happy. Oh, it's okay. Or it's gonna like this being dismissive and pushing it off, thinking they're strong enough for everybody. So let me be strong and let me hold on because my babies need me. My mother needs me. My friends need me. The girlfriend of this particular man needs me as she continues to text me and give information. But at the same time, I have to give myself permission to grieve and get this stuff off of me. In the past, I have been that mama bear, and I still am to some extent, but I will hold it for people. And I'm refusing to do so from here on out. I'm refusing to shut down my tears and my perspective. So thank you for asking, Maya. Maya, you asked some really good questions, and I want to hug you one day because you're a spark in the group. Everybody is, but you have a particular space, and I'm grateful for you. Um, but for me, I always feel like from an astrological standpoint, we have to rely on the element that moves us. Y'all get that? The element that made us. As above, so below. You get that? If you are a fire sign, again, I know I've said this before, but for the sake of the video, and to answer the question completely, fire is physical, remember? So fire likes to move, fire likes to fight, fire likes to access rather, its aggression. You understand? Fire likes to, again, in the best way I can utilize it, say it's just physical, but fire, Aries, Sag, Leo, has to bring it through their body. You understand what I'm saying? And again, it's a physical thing. It can look like dancing. It can look like literal fighting and punching a goddamn bag. It can look like sometimes verbal aggression. Even though that may borderline some air sign shit because they like to communicate, but it's a difference with air sign, and I'll get there in a minute. But sometimes that fire needs to like push through their words. Fuck, 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 fuck. I'm so angry. So the Leo in me has absolutely been through that fire, aggression, and exploration, or I should say, I don't know the right fucking word, but release, by walking around my house, cursing him the fuck out, straight up and down. So for me, I have a lot of Leo in me and a lot of Cancer in me, and I'm doing both. I utilized both that water. I got in that water and I cried in the pool in my goggles. And yesterday I ran around the house and cursing him out with Mystic behind me, asking me what the fuck is wrong with me, and she's cursing somebody out too. Air signs are absolutely communicative. They oftentimes need to express themselves, to talk it through. And this is important that we know this too, by the way, is that sometimes when we notice in astrology about certain people and how they, as I explained, right? Maya, the long fucking answer. As I explained, sometimes we have to know who to enlist when it comes to being a partner in our grieving. Do y'all get that? And again, this is no dig to anybody. Please, any of my friends, don't take this the wrong way. But oftentimes, as a Cancer, I know that I need to seek water to help me flow through it too. If I consciously seek something different and it comes at me in another way that may not help me. If my friend was actually going to somebody else that assisted him, but it didn't help him in a way, he was a Gemini. It was cerebral. It's cerebral for him. He's an air sign, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra. They need to get it out. They need to talk. So the thing is that you have to connect with somebody that is just as equal with you or can understand, at the very least, how you process. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, everybody? Yes, y'all, is all I need. Thank you, Tatiana. Again, this is not for Sonia. This is for us. Air sign needs to talk it out. Air signs need to write it out. Air signs need to hike. Air signs need to go up in the sky, like literally fly, maybe, possibly take a flight somewhere. Air signs need adventure. Air signs need to be distracted on some level, to be truthful with you, meaning get their mind out of it, right? So a good conversation, good jokes sometimes, right? Sometimes it's like, again, throwing the whole cerebral. So what the vision that I just got just now was when it comes to air, it's like some air signs, again, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. When it comes to air, they get information that literally comes in the air, like electricity to the brain, right? Whereas water signs, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer get it through the heart. I hope I solidify what water should do, or what they could do, not should, could do, right? And if y'all need me to give further explanation on water, let me know. Question. All right. But air, as I just saw it in my mind's eye, thank you, Spirit, gets it from the air, literal, but it looks like electricity. So sometimes you need to take those electrical impulses and divert it with distractions, with conversations, making sense of it, with reading, with writing. You understand what I'm saying? With verbalizing and cursing a motherfucker out too. You understand what I'm saying? Again, these are simple examples that I can just think of off the cuff, but be creative to get yourself up out of that thing. Earth signs, Capricorn and Virgo and Taurus. Again, they need to be rooted. Again, it's earth. And we spoke about this, but it's really about getting your hand, literal hands, your chakras. You have chakras in the palm of your hand. You have chakras at the bottom of your feet. You have the obvious 7 chakras, or the well-known 7 chakras. Then you have other chakras and portals in your body. Get your chakra points, the spaces where the energy flows and or can get stuck to the ground, to the literal ground. Whether you go outside and walk barefoot for a little while, you understand, whether your hands are in the earth, whether you go by and you hug a tree, whether you go to the flower shop and literally, you may look like a crazy woman or a crazy man, but literally go in the flower shop and just stand there and let the vibrations of the flower people and their energy just come on over you. They'll find you. And they know what you're going through because they can feel the energy off of you. You understand what I'm saying? Don't underestimate nature. But that's earth, you know? Oftentimes, and as crazy as it may sound, they may need to have a plan. They may need to figure out some things. They may need to keep busy by being organized, by assisting people. The service oriented element is the earth, because the earth is always servicing everybody else around them, and sometimes don't get recognized for it, i.e. the fucking planet is burning. You get what I'm saying? The earth has been saving us for thousands of years. I know I'm tangenting, but y'all with me, right? Yes, yes, y'all. Get to your element. Now, again, disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. I'm not the see all, the end all, to be all. I'm not that chick, y'all. I'm just not her. I see what I see, and I see what I'm told to say. And the reason why I say that is because I don't want you to take everything I say for gold. On some level, we have to be mature about how we take information, utilize it for ourselves, try to work it in the best way possible, but add other shit too, other information, and then know who we are. Know who we are. You understand? It's not just about information and about sharing this thing, although I'm willing and I'm honored to do and share the little bit that I am that can turn anybody's life around and can save anybody's life. It's just not always going to happen. You take what I mean? Meaning, like, it's not always enough, the information that I'm sharing. There's other resources out there that you can pick up on. Water, we talked about fire, talked about earth, and we talked about air. I think that's it. Right? If I'm missing something, please forgive me. I'm just doing my best to be diligent. If any, does anybody have any questions? And if anybody would like a reading, now is the time to put your rising, your sun, and your moon up. I would love to service you in that way. And whatever information that comes through. I do have a client at 2 o'clock in a couple of hours, so I don't want to be on here too long, y'all. I know you understand, but I just wanted to express this to you. And as my friend would say, keep doing your job. He was a beautiful person. God bless his daughter and his family. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Rabbi Rob. You're welcome. And again, I know y'all understand this, but it's worth repeating. This is just for us to get through some shit, y'all, because we don't know what people are going through, man. We have no fucking idea what people are going through. None. And I'm just doing my best to be as public as I can about it and do my job, because on some level it's all I got, really. But on some level we are a community, and if we want to be a community, we need to service each other in the good times, the bad times, the indifferent times, the goofy times, the high times, the depressive times, the all kind of times, you dig? And that's why I'm just doing my job. Mrs. Kimberlite, your husband has a Scorpio sun, a Scorpio moon, and a Libra rising. Yeah, that's Scorpio. I love Scorpio energy because Scorpio energy again understands this for sure. That's appropriate. And what I mean this is like understands and appreciates the depths of emotion. Scorpio energy, I really want, and this is for your husband too, Mrs. Kimberlite. But I want everybody to take away from this is that please do your best to appreciate Scorpio energy, especially as it pertains to death and as it pertains to depth. You understand what I'm saying? And the deepness of emotions, because they dwell there often, especially him having a Scorpio moon, because he got that from his mother, Mrs. Kimberlite, meaning that his mom brought him in a really, really tumultuous situation in his family, and or he with her, like he had a really interesting relationship with her. So he learned to go deep real quick, and express and explore trauma and information that a youngster probably doesn't need to deal with on some level. So when he becomes an adult, you understand, like especially a man, they have a different kind of view on death and destructions. They have a different type of view on emotional depth because they've been there 6, 7 times already, even though they're 35, 40 years old. You dig? So I want us all, including you, Mrs. Kimberlite, and including your husband, to respect that depth that he travels to. The understanding that things are hard on this planet, the understanding that sometimes we do need to go to the bottom of the ocean in order to get some treasures. Sometimes we need to understand things from a hurt, grief-stricken perspective. Sometimes we need to be loyal and go hard for people emotionally because that's what it calls for. Scorpio energy does that very, very willingly, where other signs may be, oh, I'm not calling him back because I don't want to feel that deep. I don't want to deal with this. I want to be happy. Or even the people that just got off of this fucking broadcast and was like, look, I'm too happy right now. I don't want to handle it. You get what I'm saying? There's no judgment to them because everybody has their capacity. But Scorpio's capacity is wide and large. Okay? The fact that he has that Libra rise, though, probably has saved his life on numerous occasions. because that Libra energy, again, as the rise, is what goes out into the world and what protects us and what comes up when we're afraid, but it's also what we attract towards us. And being that it's air, being that it's light, being that it's cerebral, he's able to, for the sake of like making it visual, he's able to bring emotions to his Scorpio self through this fence, so to speak, of airy Libra energy. And what that looks like is, okay, let me decipher what's real and what's not real. Let me be joking about it. Let me be charming about it. Let me be the mediator first. Let me figure it out. Let me find a win-win to everybody. Let's make sense of these emotions before it really hits me. Does that make sense? I hope he's on here listening, or maybe he'll see this reading later on. I'm going to share this with him, Mrs. Kimberlite. I'd appreciate that. But that Libra, it allows him to as well connect with you when he is feeling deep and he's in those dark places that he can't explain. You understand? Because Libra energy is about partnership. So I'm going to challenge you, which I'm sure you have, and this is not real challenge, but I couldn't find a word just now. I insist that you continue. Let's put it that way. I insist that you continue to be that perfect partner for him in the way in which, in my opinion, and he can tell you clearly and specifically, when he does get to those places, you do your best to show up for him, because with that Libra rise, he needs a partner oftentimes to walk him through it, even though he may not want it, because Scorpio energy can be they can hold shame, they can hold guilt, they can be tough, they can be devoted and loyal so much to their self where they don't want to show all the mishaps of their emotional understanding. And sometimes he may trip, sometimes he may not understand. You dig what I'm saying? All right, that's enough. All right, anybody else? Okay, caller, I got you. One minute. Just Brianna says, my Pluto is in Scorpio. Does that mean Pluto in retrograde will affect me greatly? Again, I do my best to try to stay away from reading somebody's chart, because here's the deal, just Brianna. There can be other things in your chart that help to offset that in the best way possible. There are a lot of people that have Pluto in Scorpio. Pluto in Scorpio is a generational sign or a generational placement. It's the farthest planet from the Earth, which means there's millions of people within, let me just say, 8 to 10 years, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, but at least 6 to 8 years that have Pluto. There's a bunch of people who was born within 6 to 8 years with Pluto and Scorpio. Okay, just to let you know that, right? Because the further out the planets are, the slower it takes for them to get into another sign. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope so. If it's not clear to you, please ask a question. Carla, you up next. Just give me a second. Let me answer this question the best I know how. There's a lot of people, again, with Pluto in Scorpio. And if it was retrograde when you was born, that just means, honestly, is that in regards to you transforming through things, in regards to you being able to finish things and moving on to the next, which is transformation, i.e., in regards to you utilizing your power, your personal power, it naturally, because you were born into Pluto retrograde, it naturally is just a tad bit slower. But because Pluto right now just went in retrograde in Capricorn, that's affecting everybody, regardless of your Pluto in Scorpio, your Pluto in a whole nother sign. And because Scorpio and Capricorn are hello, Sonia, are sextiles. I wouldn't say that the Capricorn part of it, you would have felt that in the last such and such years, since 2008, because Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. So anything that you would have affected or you would have been affected by, you probably already felt. As Pluto goes back into Aquarius at the top of this year, next year, I believe, when it goes back into Aquarius, is when you should start to understand your personal power, because that's when Aquarius will be square to Scorpio. It doesn't mean, knock on wood, and I'm not trying to be facetious, that you're going to leave the planet. Again, please don't take my words for gold, and no one, please panic. There's no panic necessary, because this is not necessarily the truth for everybody. Take what resonates. Please, please. That's the only way I can put that out there. But when it goes into Aquarius, be aware, Brianna, that Pluto is going to square your Pluto and my Pluto for that matter, because I think I have Pluto in Scorpio. No, I don't. I have it in Virgo. But there's a lot of people with Pluto and Scorpio. Everybody has Pluto and Scorpio are going to be forced to step up to their personal power. If it looks like some type of death or transformation, it doesn't have to be physical. It can absolutely be just going from one part of your life to the next. You understand? Like, okay, this level is over. Let me go to the next level. Okay, I've been living in, and it could be something as simple as I've been living in apartments for all my life, and now it's time for me to buy a home and stay in a house for the rest of my life. You dig? But that can be a big leap for some people, putting out all that money and having to fill out all these goddamn papers. Good God, anybody bought a house? Lord have mercy. They have you filling out, and you sign your name like 700 times. Whew, but that's a big deal and a big feat for some people. So it can be as easy, as simple as that. It don't have to be as deep as death. Good for you, Brianna. Good for you. All right. Let me go back to Carla Vega. How you doing, sweet lady? Aries sun, Capricorn rising, and the Sagittarius moon. Big changes lately. Sending love. Again, there's changes for everybody, Carla, and I'm happy for you. I'm really, really happy for you. But when I say there's changes for everybody, I want everybody to understand that everybody is going through something. That's why everybody, in my opinion, needs to tap into their compassion a little bit more nowadays. Like, for real. Now is the time, Squirrel, before I get into this, Carla, now is the time that, honestly, that pandemic shit is really creeping up on people. That post-pandemic, that post-traumatic shit, when we was in COVID, it was like, what the hell is going on? Folks got sad, folks got depressed. There's a lot of things that happened during that time, right? However, now we're having to kind of come back to life with it and come up out of holes, so to speak, whether they're financial holes, whether they're, people that have died and moved on due to COVID, or have maybe become homeless because of COVID, and can't pay rent any longer, who are jobless and then have become houseless, and now we're feeling the effects of it. And it feels like these times are kind of worse than when we were actually going through it. So I say, hold your hat, and I say, breathe through it. I say, access your elements. I say, pray, 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 pray. I say, reach out to people, talk to people, truly, truly, truly talk to people. And know that this is just a transit, that we are just going through this thing. There was something else I wanted to say. Maybe it'll come back. I don't know. I'm just doing my best. Carla, with your sun in Aries, Capricorn rise, Sag moon. Here's what I want to say to you, young lady. And again, just say it, Sonja. Aries energy is very, very interesting. On so many different levels, but and we all are interested. But I want to challenge you on some level, Carla Vega, to think more about yourself. And I say that because that's Aries is magic, but it's also Aries' downfall. And I know I've said this several times before, y'all. And I know it seems like I may be redundant sometimes, but truly, if we don't get the simple, basic shit, we can't get the complex shit. And Carla Vega, as an Aries sun, oftentimes it is about how strong or how weak or what your changes are and what you're going through. Because truly, what Aries feel, and tell me if I'm wrong, any Aries on here, is that if my shit ain't together, then I can't help anybody else, which is probably true on some level because they need to be fortified. They, being Aries, being the Rams, they need to feel their strength. So much so, being the baby, being the initiator. How can you initiate feeling broken? Is what they feel oftentimes. So sometimes, Carla, it looks kind of self centered to people's detriment. Meaning, like, oh, girl, I ain't got time to talk to you. This is what maybe go through your head, not necessarily what comes out your mouth. I ain't got time to talk to you. I'm going through my own shit. I would say, okay, that can be true. But I'm going to challenge you and anyone else who may be feeling that to split the time. Give somebody 5 minutes, give somebody 15 minutes, and then go and handle your shit for 30 minutes. Meaning that realize that you are not the only person on the planet. At the same time, with your Capricorn rise, you can't save everybody. Again, I'm probably taken from the vibration and the energy of today. I'm not going to go off cuff and read some other shit. Oh, you're about to get a new car kind of feel. No, I'm going off what I'm being told to say today. So if y'all don't like these readings and you want another subject matter in regard to your reading, don't put your shit up and hit me up for a read and we can go into other subject matters in your life. I hope that made sense. But with your Capricorn rising people are always looking for projects. Capricorn rising people have a very interesting self-righteousness about them. Capricorn energy, period. But especially when it's in its rise, because Capricorn rising people always show up right and tight and ready. Meaning shit always has to look in some way controlled. Again, somewhat judgmental. Oftentimes, always looking to assist because Capricorn rising says, if I know the information and I have the answers and the solutions, then I'm going to assist you in however way I can. But remember, you're an Aries, and most of the time, you don't give a fuck about assisting everybody else because you're worried about your damn self. And Aries and Capricorn is a square. So the Capricorn energy is asking you to go out there and assist people based on your expertise, your knowledge, your track record, the things that you know, the things that you pride yourself on. But at the same time, you may not complete the job because the Aries in you was like, all right, we did enough. Let's go left. Especially with a moon in Sag, because your moon in Sag can't handle on certain levels the emotional fortitude that's needed when the Capricorn brings in the projects. Example, possibly maybe you have a friend that's going through some emotional shit. The Aries in you says, well, I really don't have time for this. The Capricorn in you says, well, we actually have a list of people in which this person can talk to. Therapy and blah, 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 insurance understanding of certain things. So you reach out and you make this person your project and or you assist them in the best way that you can by giving them information. They, the people that are receiving this information, go, well, you know what? Thank you, Carla, or thank you, whoever has Capricorn rising. Thank you. Do you have such and such more? Did you have this? Do you have that? I need more, right? And people will cling. Understand, most of the time it happens naturally because folks are desperate and they need information and they need understanding, or at the very least a motherfucking hug. And if you give them one hug, they want 5. You get what I'm saying? Because people are sad. It's no fault of their own, or people are mad, or just people want direction. So if you come off as a Capricorn rise with always having the answer and the direction, then they can get stuck onto you like fly to fly paper, right? And then the Aries says, well, hold on, hold on, hold on, as the Capricorn rising diminishes, because remember, your rising don't stay up all day. As the Capricorn rising diminishes, here comes the Aries like, well, hold on. We ain't got time for that shit because we broken. And then your moon, your emotional expression being in Sag is like, yep, and we out of here. Because Sag moves fast and Sag does not like to cry. Sag moon is like, let's get to the answer quick and very quick so we can laugh again. There's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that at all. That's your magic. That is absolutely your magic as a moon in Sagittarius. Like, let's find a solution. Let's laugh. Turn on Richard Pryor. Let's figure this thing out, bitches. Let's have an adventure. Let's move it through. There's nothing wrong with that. But everybody has their own level of grief and understanding about a thing. And that's where the Aries comes in. She has to be a little bit sensitive to that. And if she can't be sensitive, don't allow the Capricorn to go out there and assist people. Go and do what you need to do to be strong and then come back and assist the way you need to. That's all I got for you. Anyway, I hope that doesn't sound pointed, Carla. I'm not trying to point fingers. Again, I'm going off of what I'm feeling today based on what's going on for me today. And if y'all don't like this, you always have the option to turn this thing off. You really, really do. I'm not begging you to stay, nor am I begging you to understand. This is for whoever needs it. That's my word. All right. Thank you, Miss Lady J. I appreciate that. Sometimes I do wonder how the explanations come through because, you know, you know, I'm glad y'all speaking among each other because I can't catch everything. Oh, you gave everything to caretake for your dad until he passed recently. I'm sorry to hear that, Carla. And now you're coming back to yourself. Good for you. Good for you, Carla. And again, it's no judgment in the fact that Aries energy needs to find himself again. Otherwise, you can assist. But I would suggest that you don't try to help nobody right now. Just don't. Just tell them, put on a do not disturb sign outside your door, girl, and put it on your phone because you got to get stronger now. And any attempt to help anybody else is just gonna fall flat. Okay? Don't push yourself. Don't let that Capricorn push you into doing things for folks. Okay, I think I'll read one more. Does anybody have any questions, though, to spark conversation? Please forgive me if I miss anybody. It's not intended. It's just that I can't see, for one, as y'all know. And sometimes shit just goes over my head. Y'all good? Thank you, 21JNCI. And I love you too. Listen, this is life, y'all. I'm not that chick. I'm not trying to come on here getting likes and motherfucking donations all day, every day, and become a millionaire. I'm not trying to have 900,000 followers. I don't believe in that shit. I don't believe in that. If it happens, all well and good. If I get a show, if I do more books, this is all because God intended, not because Sonja is pushing to be likable and or to have people understand who the fuck I am and to have these followers and impress other people in the industry. I gives a fuck about the industry. I gives a fuck about capitalism in that way. You dig what I mean? I'm here for whoever needs me to be here for them. That's my motherfucking word. And I mean that with everything, truly. I have several people come into my life trying to manage and take over, and we always fell out because they have ambitions for me further than I have for myself. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. Maybe somebody else can do that. That's cool. That's cool. That's not Sonja's thing, at least not in this moment in time. I know I'm rambling, y'all, but thank y'all for listening. That's not my thing this time. It's this right now, anyway. I do this for God. I do this for us. I'm trying to go back to D's. Okay, D's delectable. Sun in Gemini, happy solar return, baby. Sun in Gemini, Sagittarius moon, Taurus rise. Well, you heard what I just said about that Sagittarius moon. It acts a little different because of your sun in Gemini and because they are opposites, right? So that sun in Gemini, the sun in Gemini and your moon in Sagittarius is an opposite. Who you are, the sun, and how you emote is very, very not contrary, but balancing. Whereas the Gemini in you loves the information, the Sagittarius moon in you would like to take that information and go on an adventure with it, assist people on some level. I like to say that Sag energy too is like a walking Rolodex. There are people, and even if it's in your sun or your moon or your rise, if you have Sag, sun, moon, and rise, they're like walking Rolodexes. They have resources for everybody and everybody. Like they're just crazy like that. In the best way. I laugh because it's like, I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. So the Gemini in you really likes the fact that the Sag, your emotional nature, is to give away, in essence, the things that you take in your sun, because the sun in Gemini is all about information. And your moon in Gemini wants to balance that information by giving it away. Y'all got that? Yes, yes, y'all. Your Taurus rising sometimes is really, really interesting in that she can oftentimes look like she's not really. I'm laughing because it's the view I had in my. I know a few Taurus rising people, and I come across them, and maybe it's just because of me and my perspective, but I come across them and be like, "You good?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm actually really happy right now." Taurus rising people are very calm, cool, collected, oftentimes really stoic looking on the outside. You don't know what emotion that they are going through. Even though you are Gemini sun and you happy and sociable and got all this information and keeping things superficial and are producer and got all your brain is in 900,000 ways, you don't show it. You don't show that because it's that Taurus rise is, again, stoic, steadfast, in your face, kind of like a martyr who will go down for people. Got to be careful of that too. Again, remember on the top of this, we was talking about when Maya asked that beautiful question about, from my perspective, how should people move through certain things, right? Again, said that lightly, by the way, even though it was a lot. That Taurus energy, Capricorn energy, and Virgo energy always wants to service, always wants to serve. So that Taurus energy on the outside is looking to serve. Just like the Gemini is like, I got the information. Why don't we just give it to them, right? And the Taurus is like, I'm going to give it to them for show, and I'm going to stick around. Sometimes to the point where your welcome is a little bit worn. I had to tell this to a client yesterday. Oftentimes you have Taurus energy that's especially on the rise, and any Taurus planets in that first house, you come off really brooding, oftentimes steadfast and stubborn to assist. Even after the person says, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And you're like, are you sure? Here's another tissue. Are you sure? Here, take this phone. Are you sure? Let me come over right now. I got money for you. I got a meal for you. There's nothing wrong with the care that's behind that. But sometimes you can run people off with that. Does that make sense? These delectables, these nuts. I'm sorry, I just had that in my mind. I'm trying to bring my goofy back, y'all. Trying to bring my goofy back. I wanted to share a thought with y'all, but I'm gonna let that go. All right. I think that's it. Let me get off this thing, y'all. I'm going to pick a card though. Now, unless you have any questions, I will take the time to ask questions and or elaborate on some points. So let me take a little sip of this juice. Stall for a little while as these comments go up this thing, or as y'all possibly maybe formulate a question or a thought. Now is the time. And let me thank you, really. Thank you for being in here. Thank you for sharing this space with me. Thank you for making me smile. Thank you for allowing me to show up for you, for my friend, for his family, for anyone out there that can potentially be going through something that none of us know. Much love to you and light to your heart. Pray, 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 pray till you can't pray anymore. Just keep praying and know that it's all a transit, and know that people do care. You may think that they don't, but people do. People really, really do. Contrary to this weird fucking world right now. So again, waiting for questions. I'm not going to read anymore because I don't want to skew anybody's thing. I just feel like I don't want to put no more of my emotions on y'all. That's the real fucking reason. Okay, so that's it. You working on it, D's? That's right. I'm working too, baby. Like I said that to say is that we all are working. And please forgive yourself and honor yourself in the work that you're doing. Okay? That's real. Thank you. It also helps when you're feeling well and you need to remember that you do have your spiritual team behind you. Yes, you as well completely changed my perspective after I had a reading with you. Thank you, 21JNCI. I don't know what your name is. Can you tell me your name again, please? Forgive me. No problem, Zena. I love y'all like that. I don't know you, but I love you like that. And I just want us to be good. Okay? So let's pick a card and end this thing. Father God, this is all for us. I need to see in this moment in time. Give us the read. God, in which we sent off into this weekend with light and love and clarity and understanding. Bless this day, great Mother, Father God, and show us the way. And you can. Thank you. This is interesting. It's the exhaustion card. Well, I can say I'm a little tired. I'm a little tired of people leaving the planet. I'm a little tired of, this is my anger speaking, but I'm a little tired of motherfuckers giving up. That's just my anger, and I'll get over it. But I also am really hopeful that he has some peace now. But the exhaustion card came up. Isn't that interesting, huh? So what I just heard was the reason why this came up is because oftentimes when we push our body, our minds, and our soul to stay on point, to stay with the Joneses, to keep our money coming, to keep our kids happy, to, I'm being crass, y'all, but continue to fuck our husbands and our wives and our boyfriends and our girlfriends only because that's what they expect. Excuse me. And that's going to help them smile, or that's some real shit too, y'all. I was married once, and oftentimes, it's like a duty sometimes to let me just keep giving it to them or her or him, just so they know that, they can't go out in the world and cheat on me, or just so they know that I still love them and, and I'm compassionate to them, Oftentimes, sex is a chore. So don't push your people when they don't feel like it. See where their heart is. That's all I'm going to say, because I was about to go on a mad tangent. So if you're tired from having sex, if you're tired because you've been thinking too much, exhaustion card. If you're tired, maybe this weekend is time to just chill the fuck out in a way in which you have never chilled out before. Like literally turn the phone off. Tell your people, I'm gonna turn the phone off. I oftentimes go on verbal fasts. Tell your folks, I'm not talking today. I'm just gonna be the observer today. You know what I mean? That's a way of shutting your brain down sometimes, and being saying the obligatory thing. People sometimes, especially air signs, like to just talk because they feel like they're obligated to talk and make sense of a thing. If you're tired of talking, just shut the fuck up. Whatever you're tired and exhausted from doing is the point and is the message for us all. just relax and walk away from things that are making you exhausted so you can rest and be full in who you are. And that was for Carla Vega too. Okay. This is the portrait of one whose whole life energy has been depleted in his effort to keep fueling the enormous and ridiculous machine of self-importance and productivity. He has been so busy keeping it all together and making sure that everything runs smoothly that he has forgotten to really rest. No doubt he can't allow himself to be playful. To abandon his duty for a trip to the beach could mean the whole structure might come tumbling down. The message of this card is not just about being a workaholic, though. It is about all the ways in which we set up safe and unnatural routines for ourselves. And by doing so, keep the chaotic and the spontaneous away from our doors. Life isn't a business to be managed, y'all. It's a mystery to be lived. It's time to tear up the time card, break out of the factory, and take a little trip into the uncharted. Your work can flow more smoothly from a relaxed state of mind. Ashe, Amen, Aho. I send light and love and energy and forgiveness and joy and understanding of transits and temporary feelings to your heart, your mind, and your soul today and every day. Truly, we utilize this World Wide Web to assist us in reaching out to people who are perfect strangers, but in some ways are really our village and our tribe and are weird like who we are in the best way possible, or simply just understand what we go through. At least that's my mission. So I say all that to say is that you do have somebody that cares for you. It's me. And I can only do what one person can do. So please don't be weird and flood my DMs with a whole bunch of like requests. I'm only one person. But at the same time, if you need a prayer, just tell me you need a prayer. I got you. If you need assistance that's a little bit more physical, talk to people around your space. Be weird and say, yo, I need you. Just say it out loud. I need you. Because sometimes people don't know how to say that. Just say the words, y'all. Just say the words, okay? We are one, Irene. We absolutely are one. As much as I talk about black and white and races and power and classes and shit sometimes here, I try to stay away from it, but sometimes I do. The human race is the one race. And that's how we need to come together and assist each other, because we're leaving and the planet is burning. And we need to assist in the best ways we know how. No miracles, no 0 to 60 kind of thing, but just the little bit that we can do always helps. Here's my little bit to you. I love you, and I pray that your weekend is well. I'll see y'all on Monday, okay? Take care.